The Front Row Show does not reflect the views of Utah State Athletics, or its affiliates.
Excuse me, what the hell's going on out here?
I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational, but that just wouldn't be our style.
Stick this in your trophy case.
Aggie basketball starts the season 2-0. Utah State football wins a slop fest on the road at UNLV. And this is the Front Row Show. What is up, everybody? And in the case of Jeff, welcome back.
Yeah, the Jeff is not dead.
I'm not dead.
I'm
dead.
so glad the Jeff is not dead.
Yes, because we accidentally put a hit out for him last week.
It's a Homestar Runner reference. For
oh.
the rest
I
of the world
was
out
going
there.
to say,
Well-
I've learned not to ever be in a room alone with you again, Lance. If you're going to advocate for me dying or being killed.
Look.
No, we said we wouldn't do it. We just were off. We were exploring the creative, murderous thoughts of our listeners.
And we may or may not have said that if there was enough of a Twitter following, we could have investigated into some options, but no one tweeted us back, which once again is just kind of the case of my life at this point.
That makes me feel good about myself, though.
I offer people murder and ice cream on Twitter, and no one says a word.
The How to Kill Jeff hashtag just never got trending
Well,
like we
terrible.
thought it would.
in the case of
Terrible.
that, I'm happy.
At least you, Uncle Brian. I know you, Uncle Brian. I know you have murderous intentions and nothing.
It's funny. I think this is the
Goodness.
first time we've ever switched up the intro from the show. But, for a belated sake, we're your hosts. I'm Matt
Oh,
Sonnenberg.
hey, I'm Lance Rasmussen.
And I'm Jeff Browning.
Not dead.
Yay!
not dead.
Or boo, depending on your personal feelings out there.
I think
Apparently, they're all yay because
Yes.
none
No
of you told us
response.
about
the
it.
front rowers have spoken in the yay, so I feel good about
And
myself.
so Jeff
Confidence
lives.
boost.
Jeff lives. And you know what?
At
I'm
least
glad.
one more
I'm
week.
glad. 'cause
Thank you.
Really, you're the heart and soul of the Front Row Network, Jeff. I mean,
And
Well,
you're the one who stopped
wouldn't
myself and
exist.
Matt from
You mean you don't want
really murdering everybody. Like, you are the voice of reason. You are the Jiminy Cricket to our Pinocchios.
Everyone follow us on
Pinocchii.
Twitter like you're
Pinocchii.
supposed to.
We are just your wooden puppets.
Wow.
You tiny green creature.
All right. Well,
have no idea what
enough
this
of
is
that.
going.
Let's talk football because that's what we're supposed to do.
we can talk football, I guess.
So Utah State travels down to Vegas, and we kind of thought that maybe we undersold UNLV a little bit because they came out fighting and they gave us a game.
I think a lot of people gave UNLV. Yeah, all right, you know what? I'll own it. I undersold them last week. I basically came out and was like, we're going to kill them. We didn't. They came out and played a great game. On the flip side, the Aggies really
were not
sucked
good
in that game. And, I mean, here's the thing. All right, this is the vibe I had, kind of the sick-to-my-stomach feeling I had during that game watching it. I mean, my heart was racing the whole time. I was nervous, but it felt a lot to me like the game at New Mexico State during Gary Anderson's first year here at USU, that we should have absolutely obliterated them, but Dave Baldwin went all Dave Baldwin on us in that game and was like, Robert Turbin, let's not give him the ball. And not that I didn't think it was anything coaching-wise in this game that necessarily was our undoing, but it just had that feeling of a game that we should be dominating, that we're letting them in for some reason. Now, the reason why this is all happy and good is that we won this one. We had the crappy, awful game on the road where we played terrible and nothing seemed to work, and we still won.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's just execution just seemed off on just about every level.
It did.
The run game didn't seem like it was flowing right.
Except for JoJo Natson.
Even though we ended with more rushing yards than they did in the game, which did not feel like the way it actually should have been. We were dropping passes early in the game. We were getting random penalties, fumbles, just mental errors left and right. Some really, really difficult. We had difficulty stopping their offense through our secondary late into the game. And it really was not typical of the Utah State team we've seen this year. But as you said, in the past, we lose this game close. And this year, we hold on for a victory, despite literally handing them every opportunity to score on their
We're
last
the ones
drive.
ripping out hearts nowadays.
It's
We're the ones chanting Kalima.
It's the truth. Oh my gosh!
And no matter how much that Asian kid in the stands yelled for them to cover their heart,
Cover
we
your
still
heart,
took
Indy!
care of business.
it's the true measure of the program that here we are playing terrible and we still went out. I mean, that's what big time programs do, because every team has a game where nothing clicks, it doesn't work, and if you can still pull out a win, that's awesome. So here's the stat for you. This is kind of mind blowing. So I went back the last 3 years when our defense has had the chance to close out a game. There's been 7 opportunities where they've had the chance to shut the door on the other team. We are 6-1. That is a good
The one
defense.
being the bowl game against Ohio?
Oh, never mind. Then we are 6-2.
Okay.
Because I forgot about the Ohio, but the BYU game 3 years ago down in Provo.
Oh.
But other than that, I mean, think about it.
Wow.
You have UNLV this year. You had La Tech and Utah last year. And then before that, you had Nevada. You had San Jose State that year before. This is a defense that pride itself on shutting the door on opposing teams. And they did it again.
And they should. They should feel good. I mean, they even talked about it during the game. Our red zone defense and our scoring defense is still really good.
Among the best in the country.
FYI, can we blame the bowl loss on Dave Baldwin again?
Oh, yeah, no question.
That was his fault. I'm not going to blame the defense. That was him.
Ready to see him again in a couple of weeks, guys?
Yeah.
I sure am.
Yeah. That one...
With 2 weeks to prepare for the 4 plays he's going to run at us. That's like 5 days of play.
Yeah. All right, we got that one down. Tomorrow's Thursday, boys, so we got another 5 days of work on this next play.
We can move to bubble screen left. All right. All right, and then the last 4 days are going to be run it up the middle. Let's see if we can stuff that
to
again
not
this
their
time.
best running back.
Those were the
game
days.
balls for UNLV. Who do you guys?
JoJo Natson.
Like,
Are you
can't-
kidding me? Kid
can't
was
not.
awesome.
Like from top to bottom.
I'm not going to disagree with JoJo Natson because he was phenomenal.
You can give it to a defensive player. if you
Nevin
want.
Lawson,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Talk about the strides he's made in the last
heavens.
few weeks.
He is
He
playing
has-
solid NFL caliber ball right now.
He
Enough
really
said.
is.
Shut down.
I was skeptical about his draft possibilities at the start of the year. I'm starting to think he might have a real chance.
And he's such a good open field tackler too. I
Yep.
mean, there's just a lot of skill there.
that's been his strength all along, and he's been great in coverage. Sometimes too good in coverage and drawing penalties. Now he seems to have found that balance where
He can keep a hand on the other guy.
I don't know
but-
if it's a communication thing that guys are letting him know when the ball's in the air, or if we're just facing a lot of bad quarterbacks. But dude's making plays.
Well-
Like regardless, we faced bad quarterbacks before, and he wasn't making these plays. Now he is.
Yep.
He did make me throw up just a little bit when I thought he was going to bring that interception out and try to run it back. But
Yeah. But he didn't. He did the right thing.
Oh gosh! But no, it was.
Speaking of interceptions, we should have closed that game out twice.
Oh,
Well,
my
that's
gosh.
like
Mo
what I said.
Alexander had the chance, and then Quentin Bird. Come on, man, be the veteran to hit you right in the hands.
No, that's exactly what I was saying. We between that and the defensive holding penalty, and they had every chance to score
They
on
did.
that last
We had
drive,
all the odds
and
stacked against us, and we took
we
care
pulled
of
it out.
business.
But real quick, since we talked about Nevin, let's throw back to JoJo Natson and just talk
Let's
about
talk
a
about
little bit of the
JoJo
magic that
Natson.
he was able to throw into that game. Running him out of the Wildcat seems to be a revelation for what this offense needs at this point in the
Yes.
season.
Can legitimate question? Can defenders see him behind the offensive
I don't
line?
think so.
Like there's no way, right? I mean,
I really think that plays to an advantage.
it
If you-
has to.
It's and if you really want the ridiculously nerdy comparison, in The Hobbit, the goblins take 9 dwarves, and Bilbo is crouched on the ground underneath them, not using the Ring of Power, just being really small, and they completely forget about it.
Exactly. But I mean, really, given
you just
his
compare
his
JoJo to Bilbo
athleticism,
Baggins?
He can be my Bilbo Baggins for the rest of the season.
I mean,
We're rocking.
look, we seem to
Wow.
have found the one ring of power with him. In the
Also,
Wildcat.
he's going to go destroy Smog later this year.
Boom.
That movie comes out December, and I'm freaking stoked for it. Also, I do happen to be seeing Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart in a show in New York in January. Complete side note, but that's going to be a
That is gonna be
freaking awesome experience. Anyway, back to JoJo Natson.
He's so speedy and shifty, and if he sees a hole, he is through it in no time. And if he needs to change directions, he can because he weighs nothing.
You want evidence for this? Let's just go rewatch that last touchdown run of his over and over and over again.
It speaks to the coaching staff getting the playmakers the ball and allowing them to make plays.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And he saved our bacon.
I mean, 12-yard touchdown run probably juked at least 5, if not 6 defenders.
Something like that.
And no one laid a hand on him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just completely burned him to the edge. Though the way he can juke guys is going to get a lot of people off balance. Dude's a ball player. We got ourselves a weapon in that little guy.
Awesome.
Utah State football is off this week for another bye week, so rest up, boys.
Once again, 4 plays. Learn them well. Bubble screen left, bubble screen right.
Handoff up the middle to not best running back.
And deep throw desperation that you will see 2 times in the first half before it goes back to the other 3.
There is our Colorado State preview for you guys. Hope you enjoyed it.
Boom. We're off next week, too, because of it. What up? Just kidding.
Let's move on to basketball. Utah State opened the regular season. We finally got a big-name team into the Spectrum.
And we did what
we
always
smacked them around.
We did what we always thought we would do to a big-name team when they came into the Spectrum.
We took him to the
which
sword.
Was win by like double digits and held a 20-point lead for most of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk USC.
USC, they're in a coaching change. They're under a new head coach who was the sexiest name out there a few months back after the NCAA
one of the
tournament.
sexiest
I was
going to
say, he's not even the
Right.
sexiest part about him.
Right. But they're, USC is a good win. Any win's a good one, especially over a BCS caliber team. We talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago that it's important because no matter what, when a team is looking over a tournament resume, they're going to see USC and be like, oh, okay, they handled their business quite soundly against that team. And even if they're terrible later on in the year, which, spoiler alert, I think they might be, it's still going to matter. USC, I don't think they're very good, but I will say this. Disorganized as they were athletic, and they had good size. And you know what? That's been tough for Aggie teams in the past to overcome. But this one, we also got some size and athleticism that really shined through. And then Preston Medlin in that game was just out of this freaking world.
To me, the reason this team can handle athleticism, and pressure and all that is because this team is so unbelievably balanced that we've seen in the first 2 games because you have playmakers all over the court and coming off the bench. I mean, this might be one of the deepest teams we've ever seen. And I know it's early, and things will happen. Hopefully not, but things will happen. But this is a team that just from the get-go, USC looked confused because they didn't know where it was coming from.
Yeah, and I think that's where that balance really plays in is because USC, their perimeter defenders were very good. They were athletic, and they could keep up with our guys. But just by playing Stu Morrill ball and using that balance to their advantage, all of a sudden that defense is out of sorts. You get a guy with an open shot, and we made him pay. And then, again, Preston Medlin, when that start he had in the second half, he couldn't miss. He just came out. We hit like 3 threes in a row.
We were at 1.5 for 6 in the second half.
He scored like 15 points in a matter of 4 minutes.
Yeah.
It's
I think it
unbelievable.
was 11 points in 4.5 or something.
Yeah,
to start out.
the
It
dude was
crazy.
filthy.
Well, and here's my thoughts on it. People were really kind of wondering about this game because we had 0 game film on SC.
Yeah.
0. Because their team is almost completely new. They've got like 1 or 2 guys. I think they had 2 guys that were returning that would really done any sort of major contributions for them in the past.
Yeah.
And no one knew what to expect out of them. I don't think they've known what to expect out of themselves, especially with the new whole Dunk City sped up. Let's really try to make transition ball system.
They threw a few of those, and Kyle Davis had that epic interception.
But I really think that they're going to be able to make some noise this year. You look at
They could. Pac-12 sucks in basketball.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know, the resumes of some of their players, they've got some, as you said, not only athleticism, but some really good basketball talent on that team. I think that by the end of our out-of-conference schedule, this could really be a marquee win for us.
Let's hope
and
so.
Honestly, just a fantastic way to start the year off.
Yeah, exactly.
And, hey, real quick, shout out to the Spectrum for that game.
The Spectrum
It needs
fell
to be talked about.
back. All right, so I got to the game about 6:30 because I don't get off work till 6, big boy stuff. now that I'm all grown up and stuff with a real job.
Yeah.
But I got there, and I was like, okay, it was a decent turnout so far. And then the team came out, And like I swear, for that round, there's a few times since then that it didn't happen like this, but everybody was singing the fight song. It just was. There was vocals coming from the student section. It was beautiful. And then, by 5 minutes into the game, the student section was full. The Spectrum student section was packed, and they were rocking. Section F looks like Section F of old. And I'm not talking just when I was there. I'm talking the years before it that I watched when I was younger and learned from. And that is back, it looks like. And if that is back, everything else will build on it.
It's back when you have an athletic director like Pat Hayden with his cell phone trained on the student section, taking multiple videos of it. And, it's a compliment to us, really. And it's a compliment to the guys in Section F and the Herd and what they did, that it felt like home again. And it was made for a great, entertaining game. And that crowd matters, boys.
Absolutely.
No, it's without a question. And, I get the nice benefit of being a good part of, it's been a dream of mine to be part of, the Spectrum at its finest for so long. And I was beginning to wonder if it was going to be able to be something what I was going to be able to see when I was a student. 2 games in, and
Storm's coming.
You can already hear my voice is shot.
Yeah.
And I'm still in recovery mode since yesterday, which was barely after having patched up after Friday's game.
It really makes you appreciate the guy going up and down the aisle selling Jamba Juice quite a bit more. I think a couple of years ago with the Gosners, man, I was just handing money to that kid left and right because my voice was wrecked and I need a Jamba Juice.
No, it's but congratulations, guys. People are
Keep it up.
People are being innovative. They're coming up with their own chants and cheers. It's getting picked up by the student section in general. Here's the big deal. Enforce things on your own. If you're there and you know how things are supposed to run, call people out for doing it. If you
make them wear blue.
Make them wear blue. Anyone shows up in, Utah State white shirts, white out game day shirts that aren't supposed to be there and worn, call them out. Say, dudes, we wear blue to the Spectrum every single game.
And make them read the Bangarang.
Which,
two issues in, you guys have done phenomenal work.
Shucks.
It's just, if you haven't read this yet, if you haven't read the Bangarang, you need to go online and get caught up because it's absolutely spectacular what these guys are doing.
All credit aside to your crew. Let's talk about the second game.
Second game was
against Southern Utah. Utah State comes out, and Southern Utahs are the whipping boys. And this is a game where I think in past years sometimes this game would have been a lot closer.
SU doesn't look like they have too bad a squad.
No, and Utah State just dominated from the start.
They got a couple kids who can shoot. They got some size and athleticism.
Yeah.
Jared Shaw is a monster, guys. Just unbelievable.
Hey, let's talk about his. You got his season stats pulled up right now, don't you?
Jared Shaw's season stats?
Yeah.
Yep, I sure got them. Let's see. He's averaging only 24.5 minutes per game, which is nice because when you mentioned before the show, Jeff, that in the USC game, we only had one guy play over 30 minutes. Only Preston played over 30 minutes. That's incredible.
No one played over 30 minutes.
That we could have that cushion of keeping our guys fresh and getting reps for young guys that are actually making legitimate contributions. Anyway, to Jared Shaw's stat line, 24.5 minutes per game. He's shooting 60% from the field, 80% from the free throw line.
Nice.
Averaging 18 points per game, 7 rebounds per game. He has 5 total block shots, a steal, 3 assists, and only 1 turnover. 4 personal fouls, and I think all of those came in the SUU game. Mm-hmm. Managed to go the entire USC game against that 7'2" behemoth and not commit a single foul. Pretty impressive.
It was just a solid game all around from everybody. I mean, when you look at the starters, you look at the bench, and you had guys like JoJo McGlasson get in, Vico Nomayaya. I'm terrible with names, but that's okay. I tried, dang it.
It's a huge point. Right. Like, we didn't know if we were going to see him ever in the season. There was still this idea
they looked
that they might
good.
redshirt, and both of them hit the floor. I mean, JoJo walks on the court and nails a 2 and a 3 within 30 seconds of each other to start the game.
Should have been a 4-point play on that 3 on the follow through. He was fouled, but whatever.
It's all right. It's all right. But
still
I mean,
made the shot.
Yeah, I was worried after the exhibition games about JoJo's ability to shoot the ball because he had, I think, 1 possession where he missed 3 3-pointers. But he got it. He got it going later in that game, and so far so good in the regular season when the pressure was really on. And like, let's not forget, Pooh Williams as a freshman wasn't a very great shooter, and he really kind of progressed in a all around good. I think he shot 43% from deep as a senior, or something like that. Not to mention, after his abysmal junior year of free throw shooting, led the team as a senior. So, and then Vico, I'll admit I was a little skeptical because I just didn't know, I hadn't heard anything about him prior to him signing and whatnot. Then I saw a video and I was like, okay, good look for high school, but man, the dude's just silky smooth. Yeah. And from seeing him in the scrimmage and the exhibition games, and now, on the bigger stage, he's appeared in regular season. I think we got a ball player in this kid.
Yep. Again, you just keep looking at the stats from both games even, but not even just Spencer, Jared, and Preston. We know what they're going to do. But then you have Tennille Rowland, who is just – it's awesome that he's taken the starting role. And I mean that. This is coming from the guy who has proclaimed Marcel Davis to be the best point guard in Utah State history by the time he's done. And I will stand by that because Marcel Davis had 6 assists off the bench. That is phenomenal.
In 15.
Yeah,
15
minutes.
15 minutes.
But, I mean – look at this. I mean, Jalen Moore, Danny Berger, Ben Clifford, Jordan Stone. Okay, have you ever seen a basketball player that has developed like Jordan Stone?
Jordan Stone from this time last year to right now is a completely different player.
It's unbelievable.
It is, like I said, we said all along, Stu Morrill, phenomenal big man coach. He's going to make any big man better. If I were him, I would be showing tape of Jordan Stone as a freshman and Jordan Stone, hopefully next year as a senior, to any prospective big man recruit for the rest of time and saying, look what I did with this guy. Imagine what I could do with him.
There are brain surgeons that can't do their job as well.
It's obviously a testament to his work that he's put in, too.
There are brain surgeons that can't do their job as well as Stu Morrill can coaching big man.
So let me throw this out real quick for both Shaw and Stone. I'm a huge fan. There's a stat site out there called bbstate.com. This is my free advertising punch for those guys. The best college
put together by Kyle Welliston.
Yeah, he's involved on it. All great dude. Anyway, they do a adjusted number off of minutes played adjusted into points per 40 minutes. Like if they were to play an entire game, what would they average point wise?
Okay.
Jared Shaw right now just regularly is averaging 17 points per game. Adjusted up to 40, he'd be averaging 29.4 points a game.
Oof.
Okay, which would be like that's nuts. However, Jordan Stone right now is averaging. Let's see if I can actually make sure that I got the right line on this. Averaging 7.5 minutes a game right now. But you adjust that up for what he was and what he's been capable of in that time. He's averaging 25 points a game
per 40. That's ridiculous.
Productivity.
And that's not saying that's not just a misnomer of he comes on the court and does things once and then people are like, oh, that's going to be consistent that he is able to put those kind of numbers. If he only plays 15 minutes a game but comes out and can play defense the way we need him to and score 6 to 8 points per game, he is going to be a force, and you're going to watch him become a go-to man in the post for next year, which is going to be huge because he's got some moves developing. I saw when he had a couple up and unders, some good old Nate Harris, Ty Wesley moves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That really,
and he knows
really
how to
shook
flash
opponents.
to the post for that dunk, too.
Yeah, he's turned into an all-around player. And let's not forget, USC had some real size down low.
Yep.
I mean, 7'2", beefy. Jordan Stone's line in that game, he played 16 minutes, 8 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist and a steal. Like, he's done it. It's not like he's just went picked on SUU. I mean, the dude is looking like a real ball player. So, speaking, though, of picking on SUU, your boy Marcel Davis, like, he didn't necessarily light up the stat sheet outside of the 6 assists, but his first step against their defenders was
wicked,
unstoppable. Like, he made that move and he was just instantly by them. I felt a little bad for them.
I didn't. No mercy. I think the question for Utah State fans now is this team is going on the road. They are playing at Santa Barbara, which eviscerated UNLV. That's a whole.
It's so weird to think about.
That's just funny in and of itself. Do we see this translating to the road? And if it does, that makes for a very special season.
Well, I've been touting one specific stat with Stu Morrill's teams for a very long time. People seem to want to ignore it. I don't know why. If Stu Morrill teams get more than 14 assists in any given game, they win 93% of the time from what I've been able to figure.
So, USC, 21 assists. Southern Utah, 16 assists.
Okay?
There we go.
You can go back. I believe that the fact-checking numbers on this run back. I've gone back to like the 2005 season. So over the past 8 seasons, that fact is right. I think it's 85 to 95% of the time we win games if we get that many assists. This team knows how to share the ball. In fact, let me run another quick stat check for your.
You're just full of stats,
I
Lance.
love it tonight.
It's
It's
fantastic.
basketball season. This is where I get to thrive.
but I'll tell you what. Speaking of UC Santa Barbara, they're going to be tough. I mean, this is one of those old Big West matchups, and I think it's winnable for the Aggies. You got to think so with the start we've had. They look like a good team as well. If we can come out of this one, then we kind of really know that we are in business, and we're not to be messed with. And then, we get to come back home against Mississippi State. It's gonna be another tough game, but I think this road test will be good for us, and then a week off to practice and prepare. And then you go to the road to Weber State, and then versus BYU and Energy Solutions. It's really if you can roll through that gauntlet with an untarnished record.
Oh, boy.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Like, we could be looking at some very, very interesting stuff. And then, I mean, you just never know. But it all starts here. And let me just throw it back. In my opinion, the best team that Stu Morrill has had, the 2009 team, things really got going for them with a big win early on in the year on the road at UC Santa Barbara. The Matt Formisano game winner game.
Hey,
if you
check
remember
this.
right.
You ready? That's my Matt Formisano jersey under here.
What?
Number 44.
Oh, it's a thing of beauty.
Everyone who's listening wishes they could see that. You should tweet a picture of that.
We
we'll do it at
need to
some
start webcamming this so we can live chat with peeps.
So I can show people my shirts.
Are you sure that's safe for people to see what
I think it would
goes
be.
on?
Talk about reaching out to the audience, man. That would be awesome.
so quickly?
That could be
We could
dangerous.
show off Trevor's shirt that he's wearing, which is totally awesome.
Let's continue.
Hold on. I got one more stat I got to throw out here for this season.
More
Naturally.
we got going.
I was just trying to talk over things while you found this.
Naturally.
No, I
to
got
make
th-
good
I got this.
conversation
Ready?
with the microphone.
We have one player right now who is average. He has an assist to turnover ratio of 0.2. That's Jordan Stone. It's okay. We don't really need him pumping out an assist to turnover ratio.
He's
That's
the
gonna blow people's
recipient of
minds,
assists.
okay? Other than that, every single player on our team has a 2.0 assist to turn ratio or higher. Okay. 3.0, 2.5, 2.5, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 4.5.
That is pretty awesome.
Okay? That's insane. Everyone on this team knows how to pass. Everyone on this team is willing to play team ball. And the other part of that is we're not turning the ball over very much. Our first game, 21 assists, 7 turnovers. If we can continue with that kind of efficiency for this season, there's going to be hell to pay for when the tournament time starts rolling around. It's going to be good stuff.
Let's continue the basketball merriment. And for recruiting junkies, today was like Christmas. It was signing day for basketball.
So good.
Utah State signed 6 players. Sam Merrill, David Collette, who is on his mission. He'll be back. Then Henry Bolton, Julian Pierre, Darius Perkins, and Chris Smith. It's a guard-heavy recruiting class, aside from Collette. These are players, though, that Aggie fans need to get excited about. Because these guys are ballers. All of them.
It's actually interesting to me because we talked about this a little bit earlier about why we're playing so many guards this year when we had the chance to redshirt both Vico and JoJo. But we got a lot of talent coming in on that guard line the next couple of years. And the cool thing is Sam Merrill is probably going to be a mission kid.
Oh,
So
he is.
He definitely. That's one thing we've kind of known all along.
You know, we'll watch him drift off for 2 years and come back and be able to pick things up. But still, that's a solid 5-man recruiting class.
Mhm.
And I think it's a testament to what Stu thinks that our current class is going to be able to do, about where they're going to be able to grow. And conversely, I think it's also a huge testament of what he believes that Jordan Stone and Carson Shanks are going to be able to pull off next year in the post, along with Clifford and what Kyle Davis will be able to hold down with the 4, along with, man, we are so deep right now. I can just keep rattling off players who can play these positions.
This is what this class brings is athleticism. I mean, you look at the guards on here with Bolton, Pierre, Perkins, Smith. Those guys are athletic. Merrill is Tyler Newbold 2.0. In fact, he might even be better by the time he's done. The kid is just a phenomenal ball player. And if you remember last year when Jalen Moore hit that half-court buzzer beater, Sam Merrill had 35 points in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just tearing it up. David Collette, from what we've heard just in practice, the guy was the best post player last year when he was
2 years.
2 years ago. Sorry, when he was redshirting. He was the best post player on the team. So you got to be excited about him. And then, Bolton, Pierre, athletic guards. Perkins is a scoring machine, and so is Smith. Both of them. And in the Mountain West, you're going to need guards that can create their own shot, get penetration off the dribble, and be able to score. And this class kind of addresses that need.
Well, not to mention that these are guys, all of them, who were kind of highly sought after. I mean, maybe Julian Pierre, we didn't hear a whole lot about as far as other teams' interest, but the rest of these guys are, were sought after by comparable programs to Utah State's level. I mean, Chris Smith, we had heard that St. Mary's and Nevada were banging down his door. Darius Perkins had a handful of teams really out there, like programs. You get some lower level ACC and Big East teams trying to land him, and he's going to be an Aggie. And Henry Bolton had Temple and Old Dominion.
Those are not bad programs at all.
Yeah, exactly. And this is we have a nice balance here where we have Pierre and Bolton. I would say, God, I know we said this about Vico and JoJo coming to this year, but especially next year, they've got to be redshirt candidates.
I would think so,
given the the experience we're going to have, especially when you're bringing in 2 more junior college guys. But that's great. If we can have another, let's assume Bolton's going to be a point guard because he's around that size, and having seen a little video on him, that's what I got to think. That's just one more in the pipeline that is down there getting a quality redshirt year, and then going to have time in the system. And who knows what else Pierre could develop into. But with Smith and Perkins, I mean, what better way can you transition from losing a couple really great wing players by bringing in guys that were more highly sought after than we're definitely used to seeing?
And, we're finally getting back to, I shouldn't even say back to, because it's been quite a while since we've had it happen, but a 3-man rotation through the 4 years and then a redshirt year at the start.
Yes.
And it got thrown off, when injuries throughout the 2010-2011 season, as well as a couple key people not showing up or leaving the program.
Yeah.
Really kind of threw the dynamic, and then all of a sudden we're graduating 5 guys simultaneously. But you look at next year's team for 2014-2015, you got Clifford, Stone, Berger as seniors, which is going to be outstanding. Davis, Smith, and Perkins as juniors. Moore, McGladstone, Nomaya as sophomores, and Collette and Shanks as redshirt freshmen, and Pierre and Bolton as redshirting and freshmen.
Yeah.
That is spread out. It will be deep, and I really think you're going to see a lot of effect out of it, and it sets us up for years to come, which is very important.
Can I pose an interesting question? Are we seeing Stu Morrill change his offense a little bit? Because you look at the guys, the 4 is traditionally the power post. That's who you go to, back to the basket scorer. Look at the 4s. You have Davis, Moore, Clifford. Those are not typical back to the basket scorers. And then you bring in a player like Collette who has the ability to do that, but he's also a face-up shooter. This is a team that appears that Stu is getting more athletic and kind of maybe changing things just a little bit.
I think you take ability where you can get it. And if these guys have that, you plug them in and you utilize it the best way you can. And I don't think I know Stu Morrill's not going to be the stubborn guy trying to put a square peg in a round hole with a guy that might not be a traditional back-to-the-basket guy. He's going to make use of him. Look at Ben Clifford last year. I I mean, yeah, not a great back-to-the-basket guy, but he can step back and shoot it from mid-range and from three-point range. And suddenly he was doing that last year, and he was doing it well, and the team benefited from it.
And what you'll see is you're going to watch Stu Morrill carve corners into that. You've got a round hole, and he's just whittling out the edges to be able to get that square peg in there. I don't think you're going to watch a drastic change in his offensive style. His offensive philosophy is going to stay the same. The defensive philosophy is going to stay the same. But as has been touted by coaches and sports announcers everywhere, he is one of the best X's and O's coaches in the nation for a reason, and that is the ability to alter his formulas based on the wrinkles that individual players give him.
Look at this year so far. We don't have a back-to-the-basket scorer other than Shaw. I mean, and it's nice to have, and he's been great at it.
Stone's been able to do a little bit of work down there.
Okay, Stone's done a little, but at the same time, we still run a lot of our plays off of, quick moves to the basket. It's plays that we've seen before that we just maybe...
But we're using it more frequently.
We're using more frequently because that's what our lineup is set up to be. And for now, we do still have that luxury of Jared Shaw going down low and being that back-to-the-basket guy that we need.
And you don't know what a player like Carson Shanks will be as of yet. I mean, he's still got a year to develop, but he could be that back-to-the-basket player as well.
Yeah, he could. And like we said, is he as raw as Jordan Stone was coming in?
No.
I certainly doubt it.
I don't think he is at all.
And, let's see what Stu can do with him. I think it's going to be probably pretty special.
And more on top of that, you look at the one thing that we know Stu Morrill can coach, it is how to be a back-to-the-basket post player. Mm-hmm. That is time after time what his regime here has taught us is he can take guys and teach them how to play back to the basket. What he can't teach them is a finesse outside game. I shouldn't say can't, but that's not his specialty. So if we have post players or guys who can come in with a bit of a mid-range game who he can then teach to pound it out down low, it's exactly what Jared Shaw's turned into. He is lethal from anywhere from right underneath the basket up to about 18 feet. So I'm looking forward to we got years to come that are going to be pretty well done, pretty well stocked.
Thing of beauty.
Yeah.
It's tweet sheet time.
Let's do it.
Curtis starts us off tonight. He says, what are the odds of the basketball team running the out-of-conference schedule and starting conference play undefeated?
You want to know the actual odds of that? According to MasseyRatings.com, another one of my favorite statistical sites. Hurry, someone else talk while
Hit
I
us with
up.
it, Lance.
No. This is where you fill up the things.
All right. If you beat Weber at Weber, the BYU game at Energy Solutions, if you win those two, I think you have a very legitimate shot to run the table. Because I think you beat Mississippi State at home.
Yeah.
I don't question that at all. UCSB this weekend might be a tough first road test.
I'll say this. Our next four games are all tough. I think if we come out of the next four games with a 2-2 record,
you'll be pretty
that's not bad.
Pleased.
That's pretty all right. These are four pretty tough games because UCSB, it's on the road. I mean, 3 of the 4 are on the road. And Weber State is always a tough team. They, we beat them last year, but that game wasn't a blowout. We had a fight on our hands in that game last year in the Spectrum. Mississippi State, they're an SEC program, and they're gonna play. I mean, they were top 25 just a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. So, granted, we almost beat them on their own floor that year, but still, it's gonna be tough. And then BYU at the Energy Solutions, you don't know. They're another good team that is gonna put up a fight. That let's see what our team's really. I guess this is where we're gonna see what our team's really made of, at least as far as the early part of this schedule is concerned.
So taking us up through the 28th of December with our game against San Diego Christian.
Can I just take a guess on what they have our percentage of being undefeated is? I'm gonna say it's 12.8
of undefeated at that point.
12.8%
of
being undefeated up through.
You're looking at significantly less.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're down to 1.7%.
That's what they give us, really?
But everyone's like that. There's going undefeated is a rough thing to do because
I'm just saying through to
that level
to the Utah Valley game, or
you're still looking low because BYU's rated pretty highly right now.
Yeah.
We'll go this way. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games that we have over a 75% chance of winning. There's 1, 2, 3.
How far into the schedule are you looking?
Okay, here we go.
Up to the start of conference play?
Santa Barbara, we got a 42% chance.
Okay.
Mississippi State, we got a 76% chance.
I like it.
Weber State's a 33%.
Wow.
BYU's a 26%. Pacific 67, Utah Valley's 91, Western Illinois 84, Santa Barbara's 68, Troy's 81, San Diego Christian's 99. Now that's based off the two. That's based off the 2 games we've already seen so far this season. So it's a little bit skewed at this point.
Okay.
And that's taking in aggregate information for what we've already seen in this season produced.
All right.
However, that basically tells us there's 5 games out of them that we should automatically win, and just about every other game is a toss-up, except for maybe on the road at Weber State and BYU, which I obviously think we still have a good chance at both those games.
For sure.
So, as far as the out-of-conference schedule goes, I think, and I will probably, if we run through with 2 or 3 or less losses in the out-of-conference, we're going to be in great shape for Mountain West Conference play. I'm
giving us, since just for the sake of it, I'm going to say we have an 8% chance of going through the rest of the non-conference undefeated.
Lance, my head is going to explode with all these stats. It's just madness.
Oh, yeah, you know what? Like football season, I'll say that people can tackle each other. This is when I start whipping numbers out.
Oh no. Speaking of Uncle Brian,
hey Uncle Brian,
he's tweeted us in.
I brought him up earlier.
Nice.
He
How
didn't
about
kill
how he
me.
didn't tweet us to get free ice cream or kill Jeff?
He asks, how many 5-star recruits does it take UNLV to beat a Big West team at home?
More than they have.
Yeah. Next question.
Follow up. Uncle Brian sent us 2 questions. He says, also, how will we fare against this same team on the road this Saturday?
I mean, we just talked about it. They're going to be tough, well coached. We kind of touched on that a few minutes ago, but I think it is going to be an absolute battle. I think it's going to come down to how well we can shoot the ball from outside, and if that's the case, I like our odds.
The other big thing to think about in this one is you do have their big playmaker is they got 2 guys really. They've got a forward and I believe a shooting guard who are both making a whole lot of noise for them right now. Fortunately enough, kind of plays pretty well into our strengths. And really what it comes down to, I think their forward who's leading their team in points right now, averaging, he's only like 6'7". Like, they're not a big team. What it really comes down to is they execute very similar to the way that the Aggies execute in these things.
Well, I think the X factor for me in this is, again, the depth. If this team really is as deep as we think it is, it will show in a game like this on the road. And if Stu Morrill can just keep throwing, grenades at UCSB, they're in trouble. And this is a game where you can see the depth of Utah State really swing this game in our favor.
Well, and I like our chances here, honestly, because they were able to go into UNLV and really make a statement in that game.
UNLV's a mess right now.
They are. Coaching is fractured at best, and you got a bunch of kids out there running up and down the court with no organization behind their play. You looking up, guys? You looking up stats for me?
I'm just looking up their roster. I mean, they don't have great size. Alan Williams is their 6'7" center, 6'7", 240. So, I mean,
he's a bigger dude, but
yeah, you get pushed around by Jordan Stone.
Yeah, well, and Jared
I'm
Shaw's gonna have
6'2", 240. I'll push him around.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jared Shaw's gonna have length on him.
Yeah, a lot of it too,
and that's the other big thing. We didn't even
and
talk about
athleticism
that
probably.
Yeah, we are a fantastic rebounding team this year.
Yes,
I think that's gonna come up in this game too because do they have a guy taller than 6'7"?
They've got 2 guys that are 6'10". They're a freshman and sophomore. And let's see real quick if they've played at all. One of them has played. He's played 17 minutes a game. He's averaging 4 points, 1 of 2 from field goals. And then the other one has not played.
So
he's a freshman, probably redshirting.
You're really gonna. I mean, the keys and stresses of Stu Morrill's offense, rebounding and defense, are going to be able to go in and give us an excellent shot at this game. I expect it to be a battle. I mean, you don't go in and do what you did to UNLV on a whim, but we are not UNLV in that they're not going to be able to come and run sets against us that are going to confuse us.
Garrett tweets in, how much of the Wildcat formation do you think we'll see in the next 2 games?
I think we'll see a fair amount. No, I mean, not, a ton. I think we'll have 2 or 3 drives where we use it in a few different packages and make use of it. I mean, if the ability is there to gain yards and, roll downfield on these guys, do it.
And that's not even saying anything about trying to compensate for a lack of offense anywhere else, because our offense is capable of moving the ball on their own. Garrettson's still holding through as a pretty awesome quarterback. But if you
Kid's all right.
if you got, once again, wrinkles in the system, if you can throw stuff in there, I'd say we'll probably watch for the rest of the season, including potential championship games and bowl games, you'll probably watch 5 to 6 Wildcat formations a game.
Zach tweets in. He says, out of Chucky or Garrettson, who's more likely to be the starting quarterback next season?
Chucky.
Chucky is.
Yeah. It really is. I mean, Chucky Keaton is a potential Heisman candidate. He was throughout this year. Daryl Garrettson, we all love. The kid's got moxie. No, you just don't replace Chucky Keaton.
Well, and on top of that, what's the best way to make Garrettson the best quarterback he's going to be? Is give him another year of tutelage under Chucky Keaton within this system. Get the red shirt back on him, have him travel, because he was already traveling this year with the red shirt on. He just wasn't playing.
Yeah.
But he went out to observe and watch. He came in here to be our franchise quarterback for the next 3 years after Chucky's gone. Get him a red shirt.
Looking like he's going to live up to that.
Yeah, get him a red shirt, get him another year of experience. Chucky is going to be getting that much smarter because he's watching all the games from the booth.
Mm-hmm.
You watch the two of them together, tag teaming, getting Garrettson trained up for when he's going to be able to leave. The next season is going to be awesome.
I'll say this. I'm going to go bold and say it's doubtful that Garrettson redshirts next year. It's a nice proposition, but unless we have another capable backup behind Chucky, I just can't really see that happening.
That is interesting.
I would almost it all
you
depends.
Gotta have that backup. I mean, even if nothing else for late
Well,
games. So we could see, maybe we'll find someone that wants to play with the big boys and is fine being a backup next year.
Yeah,
but I just doubt it.
Well, here's the thing. Our good friend of the show, Kyle Goon, he wrote an article about that same question. And actually, Todd Alder tweeted, and he asked the exact same question. But the point is that Chucky, in 2 out of his 3 seasons, has been injured significantly. And do you trust that Chucky will remain perfectly healthy all through next year?
I think you got to try to trust it.
Yeah, you gotta
put all. I would see no reason to not. I mean, you obviously don't play Garrettson first snap, and you bring someone else in to play garbage minutes if you need him to, so Chucky doesn't have to take the risk of getting hit again.
Yep.
But if you can keep a 3 quarterback system, play number 3 that you know is not going to be coming in and actually taking the role, and then give Garrettson every opportunity not to play to try to preserve him another year, I'd say go for it.
But
it all depends on who the personnel is.
If you can redshirt Garrettson, do it. It just is a matter of a capable backup stepping up, paging Jeff Manning.
Follow up from Zach. He says if either Daryl or Chucky doesn't get the starting job, would they consider transferring?
No,
I don't
think so. No, I mean, what's the benefit of transferring if you're Chucky Keaton? He's gonna have the starting job. If you're Daryl Garrettson, what's the point of transferring and wasting that whole year to go somewhere else when one, you're not gonna play? If you're going to play that season at Utah State, you're gonna have to sit out a transfer year and not play somewhere else.
Yeah.
At least you're familiar here. You're established. You have a good coaching staff.
From what
and
has
a fan
been
base
said,
that already likes you because you're doing really well.
And beyond that, you basically have 3 years of starting football in front of you.
Yeah.
And you know that. Why would you give that up to go? I mean, no offense to Adam
to
Kennedy,
go compete for another job.
It's when Adam Kennedy left the program, he left because he had 1 year left. He had a free transfer rule because he had graduated from college, so it wasn't like anything got in his way. And he wanted to go play a year of football where he could start. But he wasn't announced as Arkansas State starters until 2 weeks before the season started,
Yeah.
It was still a risk for him to go out there. So why do you give up a for sure thing to go out and take a risk on something else? I don't see it happening.
Daryl tweets in.
Whoa.
You're going to hate this.
Daryl.
Daryl.
Got me kind of hopeful there for a second.
Yeah, it's like
Daryl.
Daryl Garrettson tweeted the program.
We just heard
Not
from him.
Daryl, not Garrettson tweets in. You're actually going to hate this question.
Okay.
Are we disappointed with Utah State's recruiting class considering other in-state schools are signing bigger name prospects?
Boo.
They always have been. Who cares? I mean, you look at the names, and all right, let's just take. Oh, geez, I'm trying to think of some comparisons. Tyler Newbold. Let's take Tyler Newbold. Plenty of guys signed at wherever over the years that were bigger names, whatnot. Would you have taken any of them over Tyler Newbold? Who made their teams better over the years than Tyler Newbold?
We've kind of beat this like a drum. I mean, we talked about that Nevada team, that had 4 NBA players on their team. We still took them to the woodshed. Ty Wesley abused Luke Babbitt. The star rankings don't mean anything really. It's about what
they mean a little.
They mean a little, but it's more about what the player develops into than what they actually are.
Well, and then that's I mentioned this earlier. My thought on stars is it is what is capable of a player's potential if they are coached correctly in the position that they are supposed to be playing. The difference is we've watched a lot of players going to other certain schools to the south who are not going to be going in and getting coached in the positions that those schools are prepared to coach them in. You know, obviously the big one right now is we watched a decommit from Ohio State commit to BYU.
Who cares?
But Rose is not a post coach. He does not coach post players well at all. Nope. I do not anticipate this kid's going to – I mean, he'll be good, but it's not a system that he's going to be able to thrive on.
Hey, remember that time that we had big-time 4-star recruit that was at Ohio State that transferred to Utah State?
Oh, yeah.
He sucked. He's
terrible.
That's the star rankings. There's only so many can't-miss guys in every recruiting class. And
they don't go to Utah State, and they don't go to the schools down south.
They're not debating between us and schools down south or usually other schools in the Mountain West. They're debating between Kentucky or Kansas or North Carolina or Duke.
They're debating where can I go to spend a year and be happy before I start getting paid.
Where can I go where they're going to do all my homework for me for the first semester when I have to pass my classes, and then the second one just won't care. It's like the star ratings are a measure of potential, and with potential, you still have to coach it up to reach that potential. And Stu Morrill does that really, really well. With he'll take 2 stars and make them look like 5.
Brad tweets in. He says, "What bowl game does the Front Row Show want to attend this year?"
Las Vegas.
I think the Vegas Bowl would be a lot of fun.
Yep,
I'll take that. Poinsettia wouldn't be bad either.
Poinsettia wouldn't be bad. No, and I feel like is that the number 3? The Mountain West number 3 goes Poinsettia?
I thought it was the 2. I think it's the 2.
Is it the 2?
Yeah.
Where's number 3 go?
Hawaii.
Oh, that would be not
put it
financially doable
but
for me.
If he's asking straight up the question, where would we like to go this year? I think the Hawaii Bowl would be an awesome experience.
Yeah.
There's no way I could make it there on my own. But I think it would be an awesome experience.
No question.
So
no freaking question.
Of them, I think the Hawaii Bowl would be I would love to go to the islands to go watch football. But of the possible ones where I could actually travel to, potentially, and it's looking iffy like I'm going to be able to make it to the bowl game at all this year.
Oh, no, Lance.
But, unfortunately, I got some responsibilities in my life.
Ugh,
but,
damn adulthood.
Yeah, I know, growing up again. But no, the Vegas Poinsettia would be great. I'd even settle for Boise and be perfectly happy with it.
Regardless, a bowl game is
Here's the thing.
Great.
So you look at the scenarios, and let's say Boise State loses to San Diego State, propelling Utah State to be in line, assuming we win out at home, to play for the Mountain West Championship. If we go to that game and win it, we'll be the Mountain West champion. We'll go to the Las Vegas Bowl. Mm-hmm. If we go to that game and play Fresno State, who's, let's be honest, going to be undefeated at that time.
Yep.
If we go to that game and lose, Fresno State's going to a BCS Bowl. That means the next best Mountain West team will go to the Las Vegas Bowl. That'll be us. We'll go to the Las Vegas Bowl. If not that, then the Poinsettia Bowl. So
it's a win all around.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. There is the wild card that should Boise State win out and go to that game representing the Mountain Division and play Fresno, it's kind of a similar scenario. Fresno wins, they go BCS. Boise wins, that really shakes things up because then Boise goes to the Las Vegas Bowl. Fresno will go to the Poinsettia Bowl. Utah State likely going to one of the other options. It doesn't necessarily have to be
No.
the Hawaii Bowl, but it's going to be one of those other options. So it's going to be a bowl game.
You prefer one of the 3 bowls that is within easy travel from Logan.
Exactly.
Yep.
If you can make it to, is it Dallas for the Military Bowl?
I believe so. Yes.
That one's doable. The Hawaii one's probably not on a student budget.
No. You know what? Neither's Dallas.
Even
Dallas is like 20
even on your
hours, isn't it?
on your big
Yeah.
boy, I have a job every day budget.
Yeah,
Look at
I'm
you.
still
But
struggling
no,
to make ends meet.
so we'll hope. If it comes down to it, someone's got to have it on TV somewhere.
But if you're asking me where I want to go, Vegas, baby.
Vegas.
Thanks to everyone for tweeting us, as always, at USU Front Row. It happens every week. It's the can't miss event of the show.
Hey, should we round it all out with some last words?
All of us?
Yeah.
All right.
It's over, Johnny.
Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!
All right, I'll start it off.
Do it.
Okay. My last words, solid performance by the Herd so far at the Spectrum, especially against USC. The numbers against SUU weren't quite there, but the crowd participation was. Now we just need the bigger numbers to build on that. Make your friends and all their friends come to the games. And if they don't have friends, befriend them and make them come to the games to make friends. Keep it up, Herd.
All right, well, to tack on to that, the way you keep it up, is my last words, is get on the road to the Weber State and to the BYU games. Spectrum on Wheels is coming back. I'll tell you right now, we're doing a bangerang for both games. I'm really, really trying to stop myself from planning a 4-page folded spread for the BYU game, but I may not be able to stop myself for it. We'll keep you updated on that one. There's enough content out there for it, including just miles and miles of
Not
Peter
giving in
Cetera
to
lyrics.
temptation is their thing, dude. Just give in.
Dude, just Peter Cetera lyrics all up and down. We'll sing at him the whole game. It's going to be glorious.
Love it.
Like, we'll do it for the glory of love. Anyway, make it out.
Could also be a Newfound Glory lyric. Their cover was amazing.
Get on the road. Get the Spectrum on Wheels bumping. Show up. We've got games on the road you can make it to. The Mississippi State game is going to be huge. Get to the games. And also, remember to come back to Romney. We're going to have some good games to finish off the season there, too. Especially that Wyoming to BYU transition day, which should just be a great day of Aggie sports. And if I may say, save some vocal stuff for the Energy Solutions Arena. You can't blow everything out at the Wyoming game. So
Yeah.
plan ahead. Take ibuprofen before, pre-medicate. It's good stuff.
The spray that like numbs your throat.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
WAC tournament 09, that's how we got through, man.
Yeah, because then you can't feel the terrible amount of damage you're doing to yourself.
Right.
Jeff.
What do you got?
It's a long last word. My last word is
grew.
this. Yes.
Like a flower.
Blossom.
There you go. He gets it.
My last words are this.
Lance is a blossoming, beautiful flower of the Front Row Network.
Wow. Well, I was trying to be somber, but I'm not sure I can. The best thing about being a Utah State Aggie is the closeness you develop with the athletes, with your fellow students. And when one of us gets hurt, we all get hurt. And my last words is a special shout out to our good friend of the program, DG Tialvea, who lost his father this past week unexpectedly. There's nothing you can say to really provide all the comfort in a moment like that, other than to say, DJ, Aggie Nation loves you. You're part of us. We support you. We pray for you. And we know that the best way you can honor your father is to continue to be the exemplary individual that you already are and you will continue to be. God bless, my friend. Continue on. Go Aggies.
Well said.
That was beautiful.
Good stuff.
Well, I'm glad to be back.
We're glad to
Thanks
have
for
you
not
back.
kicking me off permanently.
Matt, we were able to hold on to a little bit of our goofy.
We got a little bit of it.
Don't tell Jeff.
We started the show pretty goofy, but then we got tired later in the night
I
as
know.
it went on.
But yeah, we held on to some, so
We got a little, yeah.
don't let him know.
I'm listening.
Also,
Shoot.
Murder tweets.
How to kill Jeff hashtag.
I don't know how to respond to that.
I'm Lance Rasmussen.
Tweet us, Jeff. Give us your suggestions. You're not exempt.
Ways to murder me.
Don't kill me. I have much to live for. I'm Jeff Browning.
I'm Lance Rasmussen.
And I'm Matt Sonnenberg. Go Aggies.
All right.
I want to take you to a gay bar. I got something to put in you. At the gay bar, gay bar, gay bar. Electric Six, Jeff?
I've heard it. Their song Danger High Voltage is just
Danger,
so groovy.
danger. High voltage. When we kiss. When we touch.
Hey, Aggie fans, thanks again for listening to this episode of The Front Row Show. Be sure to download all our archived episodes on iTunes, follow us on Twitter at USU Front Row, like our page on Facebook at facebook.com/USU Front Row, and subscribe to us on our new YouTube channel at youtube.com/USU Front Row. Go